Hello, good evening and welcome along to round 2 of the MotoGPeSport Global Series. It's Jack Appleyard and Jack Gorst here with you live from MotoGP HQ in Barcelona with another 2 races coming your way this evening. Races 3 and 4 of this Global Series, of course, meaning we'll be at the half stage of the championship this year come the end of the night. Now, it's not very often that I say this, Jack, but our eSport gamers have certainly got a hard act to follow tonight, given the drama we've had in the 2020 MotoGP World Championship. However, don't worry, because these guys provided plenty of drama in our opening Global Series evening with races at Jerez and Mugello, both of which we will fully recap in just a few moments' time. But it has been a fair few weeks since we last saw all 11 of the guys hoping to become the world champion this year, so I think it's a good idea that we reintroduce you to all of the gamers.
Yeah, it certainly has been a little while since we've seen all 11 of our eSport gamers, so a big hello to you guys as you join us this evening from all over the globe. I hope you're doing well. And speaking of this evening, we do have the second round of the 2020 Global Series coming up for you, and the first race of the evening takes us to Austria, to the Red Bull Ring, where we have 10 laps of competition coming up there, before we then head to Malaysia for the Sepang International Circuit, where we have 8 laps there. So briefly, before we get into any of tonight's activities, let's just recap on who is who in the 2020 Global Series.
After a lengthy break, the 2020 MotoGPeSport Global Series returns, so let's meet our 11 competitors aiming to become champion. First up is Indonesia's Sancho Queen. The rookie sensation was the surprise package of the opening event. Davide Galinha returns after a 12-month absence aboard the Pramac Ducati. Mr. TFTW, our only Australian competitor, is back once again with Reali Avintia. Moe, a 3-time MotoGP eSport finalist, lines up aboard the LCR Honda Castrol. Juan NH picked up a podium finish in the opening event. Will be looking for more of the same on the Red Bull KTM Tech 2. Repsol Honda Team's Fuchs will be looking to kick off his 2020 series after a disappointing opening event.
Ellie goes 555, the 2018 runner-up. He can do some serious damage. Watch out for him challenging the top guys if he gets a chance. Williams Adrian, the dominant force in 2020. No one expected it, and he's been brilliant so far. Williams Christian, his brother, he'll be seeing if he can replicate the dominance that his brother has had so far. Trastevere, Mr. All-Time, the 2-time champ, he'll be looking to rekindle some of that glory from those years. And Andrew ZH, the 2019 MotoGP eSport World Champion, what can he do?
There we go then, those are the 11 guys all vying to become the 2020 MotoGP eSport champion, with the man in the driving seat at the moment, Red Bull KTM Factory Racing's Williams Adrian. Who would have thought at the opening Global Series round that KTM would go on to have the year that they've had so far? It all started, of course, with 2 victories in the opening night of the Global Series, the first of which coming here at Mugello. The KTM man starting from pole position, got the whole shot, and he didn't look back from there.
Yeah, no, he certainly didn't. As we look back, we saw his brother, Williams Christian, battling it out for 3rd and 4th on the opening lap as Andrew ZH actually made it way through to the lead pack. Another man that was making his way through was Sancho Queen. It was a real surprise package at the first round, and he actually tried to chase down the top 3.
But it was that man, Williams Adrian, that took the opening victory of the Global Series comfortably in the end, ahead of Trastevere and the reigning world champion Andrew ZH. Surprise package Sancho Queen having a strong start to the year, though, coming across the line in 5th, a result he would go on to better here in Jerez, where once again it was Williams Adrian starting from pole position, and in a carbon copy he took the whole shot and checked out.
Yeah, he certainly did, but there was drama further back as Moe and Williams Christian crashed out at turn 1, as then we saw Williams Christian have to make his way through from pretty much dead last as he pushed his way through on Davide Galinha, as Mr. TFTW crashed out of 8th place.
At the front, though, it was all about Williams Adrian, lap after lap, pulling further clear of Trastevere, who would go on to take another 2nd place finish. Meanwhile, reigning world champion Andrew ZH in all sorts of bother outside of the top 5. He would eventually limp home, having ran out of fuel. One man that certainly didn't run out of gas was Williams Adrian. coming across the line to claim the second victory of the Global Series. A perfect 50 points for him. Not the perfect evening for Andrew ZH, as you can see there, eventually coming across the line in 7th. So this is how the championship standings look after the opening night, with Williams Adrian 10 clear of Trastevere, rookie sensation Sancho Queen in 3rd, and Andrew ZH trying to hold on to that 2019 title, already a full race win adrift of Williams Adrian. Less than 50 points then, covering all 11 of our MotoGP Esport gamers after the opening night of the Global Series. And of course, with double points on offer our season finale, it means that all 11 are still well in contention for picking up the 2020 crown. The man in the driving seat at the moment, though, with a lead of 10 points over Trastevere, our 2-time champion, is Williams Adrian aboard the KTM. Now, he went into the opening night of the Global Series without ever having been on the podium, and he walked away with victory in Jerez and victory in Mugello as well. Not a bad opening night for the Spaniard. Let's speak to him now then, our championship leader in Gran Canaria at the moment, with brother Williams Christian, who you might be able to see over his shoulder. He's certainly in the same house anyway. So, Adrian, congratulations on that great opening night of the Global Series. 2 victories to your name. I'm sure you're hoping for more of the same this evening.
Hi everyone, I am so happy that, of the victories in the last round, and these 2 races will be very difficult, especially Spielberg. I think there are 4 or 5 riders to fight for the victory, and also I hope to no crash in the first lap, especially in the first and second corner, because it's so dangerous. And I will try to do my best, and if it's possible, fight for the victory.
Well, no pressure, Adrian, but KTM have already had 1 home victory in Austria this year so far, so I'm sure they're hoping for another one courtesy of you as well.
Yeah, I'm sure there will be. As he said, he actually, at Williams Adrian, he pointed out a very good point there. He said that he wanted to try to stay out of the Turn 1 chaos. All the crashes that we saw in the last 2 races, well, he managed to stay out of them 2 in Mugello and Jerez, and I'm sure he'll be able to do the same again tonight. Adrian, we've got 2 very difficult tracks coming up in Austria and Sepang. Have you had much time to practice the 2 tracks since the Global Series round 1?
Right now I am first in the championship, but there are other fast riders like Trastevere, Andrew, Christian, Juan, Sancho, especially Trastevere, because he's always at the top. So I will need to stay always in the first position for to beat him, and I hope to in this round I have to get important points for the championship.
Yes, certainly. Seems like Williams Adrian just pointing out there that consistency is going to be key in this 2020 Global Series.
Yeah, it certainly is. Let's switch all of our attention then to race 3 of the Global Series at the Red Bull Ring in Austria. Of course, played host not only to 2 MotoGP races, but also to one of our virtual MotoGP races as well. And I tell you what, if we can have a last lap like we saw there this evening, we're going to be in for a bit of a treat, because Pecco Bagnaia got the better of Maverick Vinales in a last lap thriller in Spielberg. Let's just remind ourselves of what we can expect tonight. This is what happened when the virtual MotoGP race took there earlier in the year.
So this is how Pramac Racing's Pecco Bagnaia was able to take victory already this year at the virtual race in Austria. It was a typical virtual race start with all sorts of chaos into turn 1, as all sorts of bumping and barging saw Pecco eventually come out of the first turn in 2nd place, just behind race leader Takaki Nakagami. And it was early race leader Nakagami who made a mistake, allowing Pecco through into the lead, but it wouldn't be all plain sailing from there. Maverick Vinales began to chase him down, and in the final laps was able to mount an attack. A huge lunge from Vinales at turn 3 ignited the battle that would go all the way to the final lap. Pecco held the lead coming into the final lap, but with Vinales able to dive down the inside into turn 4, it seemed as though he had his work cut out. But it wasn't long before Pecco was able to fight back. A desperate lunge down onto the inside of turn 6, even on the grass, saw him reclaim the lead as they closed out the race. Vinales tried to mount a charge. As they came through turns 7 and 8, he was able to close in, but it wasn't quite enough to snatch victory from the Italian. Pecco was able to hold off the charging Vinales, taking victory for Pramac Racing and Ducati as they continued their Red Bull Ring dominance. Not only that, but it was also his first MotoGP victory as well. And that's how Pecco was able to pick up a victory at the virtual race in Austria. So there we go then, that was how Pramac Racing's Pecco Bagnaia managed to take victory in the virtual MotoGP race that happened in Austria some months ago now. But that was in the past, this is now the present, so let's find out a little bit more about the rules and regulations that will be going on for our race this evening. Of course, we will be heading to the Red Bull Ring, and the track conditions will be clear, so the riders will not have to worry about any slippery conditions or some wet rain.
I'm sure a huge relief to everybody, that fact right there. Qualifying 15 minutes that of course took place earlier on today. We'll bring you highlights of that session in a few moments time. Race distance of 10 laps and then the all important rules as well. Balanced performance on, so all of these guys are on exactly the same machine when it comes to the performance level. Bike damage is off as well, but collisions are on between the guys. Importantly, tyre and fuel consumption is proportionate, so that will play a factor, as we saw earlier on in round 1 of the Global Series with Andrew ZH running out of fuel. And penalty limits will be strict as well, so those guys need to watch out on track limits, in particular at the final corner in the Red Bull Ring. So let's turn our attention well and truly to race 3 of the Global Series. Qualifying took place earlier on today, and here's exactly what went down. Let's take a look at how the grid's going to shape up then for race 3 of the Global Series at the Red Bull Ring in Austria. And taking the final place on the front row of the grid is Team Suzuki X-Stars Williams Christian, the Spaniard, looking to chase down brother Williams Adrian at the front of the championship. Talking of the championship, last year's winner Andrew ZH had an absolute disaster in Jerez last time out, but he'll look to get his 2020 series back on track, starting from second on the grid. But making it a perfect start to 2020 when it comes to qualifying is Williams Adrian. In the opening Global Series event, he took 2 pole positions and 2 race wins. He's now picked up another pole position. Can he convert it once again into race victory? Ellie goes 555 front row 2 ahead of Trastevere and Sancho Queen, with row 3 Mr. TFTW, Juan NH and Davide Galinia before Moe and Fuchs round out the grid. A hat-trick of pole positions then, going the way of Williams Adrian in 2020. I'm sure this is the sweetest one yet though. Taking pole by nearly 0.3 of a second, which in MotoGPeSport is a huge amount. Coupled that with the fact he's done it on home soil for KTM as well. I'm sure the rest of the field pretty worried with what may well unfold around the Red Bull Ring in a few moments time, because we know exactly what happened the last 2 times he picked up pole position. So let's speak with the Spaniard now. Adrian, many congratulations. Another pole position. How does this one feel?
Thanks a lot. I am very happy because in this track the most important thing is start in the first row, and now I will try to do a good start and have a good pace, and I will try to fight for the victory.
Yeah, pole position I'm sure is going to be absolutely vital, especially here at the Red Bull Ring. Corners 1 and 3 as well at the top of the hill. The most important thing is you stay out of trouble. And Jack, talking about turns 1 and 3, let's take a look at some overtaking hotspots, I think.
Yeah, certainly. It's certainly going to be one of the key areas on this track. It's fast and flowing. There's some big stops mixed in just for fun. Let's take a look at some of the zones on the track where the riders are going to be going for a lunge or 2 down the inside.
Let's take a look at the overtaking hotspots then from the Red Bull Ring in Spielberg. Just under 4.5 kilometres in length, only 10 corners on the short, sharp Austrian circuit, with 7 right and 3 left, although turn 2 you probably wouldn't even count as a corner. Plenty of overtaking opportunities though, as has been proven over the 5 years we've been coming to the Spielberg circuit. The first overtaking hotspot, zone number 1, is at turn 3 at the top of the hill. The drive out of turn 1, absolutely vital before tucking in behind the man in front of you and then powering through on the brakes into the slowest part of the circuit. Zone number 2, turns 6 and 7, both of which are fast and flowing left-handers. And finally zone 3, the final corner on the track. We've seen some last lap moves over the years. Most recently, of course, being Miguel Oliveira's dive past Paul Espargaro and Jack Miller just a few weeks ago. Will we see the same in MotoGP Esport? It's nearly time for race 3 of the Global Series to get underway. As I'm sure you're well aware by now, then plenty of overtaking opportunities in Austria. Who's going to be able to grab the Red Bull ring by the horns? That's the question we're going to answer now, because race 3 of the 2020 Global Series is coming your way right now. Will the poleman, Williams Adrian, be able to extend his 10-point championship lead out any further, or will the protagonist behind finally get a chance at glory? Let's find out as we go racing at the Red Bull ring. Here we go then, race 3 of the MotoGP Esport Global Series. After a near 3-month absence, we are back for races 3 and 4. And I tell you what, whatever happened in races 1 and 2, you can pretty much pick up the form book and throw it out the window, because with a gap like that, Jack, anything could happen here. The front row of the grid, Williams Adrian, Andrew ZH and Williams Christian.
On the second row of the grid, we do have Eligos 555 in 4th place on the Aprilia. Trastevere, the two-time champ, lines up in 5th, and in 6th place it's Sancho Queen on the Petronas Yamaha SRT machine. He
was the rookie sensation of that opening night. Back onto row 3. Great performance from Mr. TFTW aboard the Sponsorama Racing Ducati. Juan NH is there on the Red Bull KTM Tech Trois, and Davide Galigna lines up 9th.
And on the back row of the grid, it's the LCR Honda of Moe. And in 11th place, and last, unfortunately, it is Fuchs on the Repsol Honda.
But on pole position, it's the World Championship leader, Williams Adrian. The KTM on home turf. Can he make it a hat-trick of Global Series victories? Let's find out. We're underway at the Red Bull Ring, and it's a great start from pole for Williams Adrian. The number 26 powers in towards the whole shot, and he's got last year's champion, Andrew ZH, for company, tucked in behind him in second. But here comes Trastevere as well. He's already picked up 1 place in front of Williams Christian, the man who's second in the championship. In fact, no, he's not, down in 6th place in the championship. He needs a big result here, does the Suzuki man. And so far, he's not going to find it, because there goes Trastevere through. And look at Juan NH. I can't believe it. We're in Austria, and we've got KTM's 1 and 2, Jack. Williams Adrian leads the way, with Juan NH from row 3 of the grid through into second.
Yeah, it's a KTM delight on their home turf. Well, not quite so much. Williams Christian just squeezes through into second place as Juan NH just runs it on a little bit at turn 4. But phenomenal start still from Juan NH, come through from the 3rd row of the grid, as though Eligos 555 just going to try to get up the inside of him. I think he's just going to hold off. Yes, he does. So Juan NH maintains that 3rd position.
I can't believe what I'm seeing, Jack. The two men that fought tooth and nail for the championship last year, Andrew ZH and Trastevere, are squabbling over 5th place. The pair of them have dropped backwards. They've allowed Williams Christian, Juan NH and Eligos 555 through in front of them, and now they're getting in each other's way over 5th place. This is absolutely going to plan for Williams Adrian. Of course, Trastevere, the man who picked up 2 second place finishes in our opening event, he's 10 points adrift in the championship, but he's going to extend his championship lead by some margin if things stay as they are. Williams Adrian in 1st, and Trastevere, the 2-time champ, down in 6th.
Remarkably, Juan NH has already got a track limits warning, so he needs to be a little bit careful as he sees Eligos 555 once again looking for the inside line in him, but still not able to make it count. Disaster for Sancho Queen. He's crashed out. That's unfortunate for the rookie, because he's been seriously fast and was really impressive at the first round of the Global Series back on July the 10th. But anyway, we look back towards the front. Once again, it is Eligos 555 getting a little bit close for comfort with that Red Bull KTM Tech-free machine of Juan NH16.
Great shame with Sancho Queen. Exactly right in what you were saying there, Jack. The Indonesian was superb in our opening night of Global Series racing. 5th place on his debut and then backs it up with a podium finish in just his second MotoGPeSport race. Brilliant stuff from the young Petronas Yamaha SR team, and unfortunately not going to plan here. An early crash sees him drop down to 10th place, not where we expected to see him at all. Meanwhile, at the front, Williams Adrian, he's already got 2 pole positions, he's already got 2 race victories, and now he's on course for making it a hat-trick in both poles and race wins as well. The KTM man looks unstoppable in 2020.
Yeah, he really is. He's been absolutely superb. And I'm sorry to say, Jack, but it's exactly the same story as race 1 of the first round of the Global Series, where early mistakes and battles, the Sancho Queen goes down again. So it's gone from bad to worse for the Indonesian, which is a disaster. But as I was just saying, it's the same story again as we saw in Mugello, where early battles stopped anyone from being able to cling onto the back of Williams Adrian as he just waltzed off into the distance.
Yeah, they're costing themselves here quite dear. Williams Adrian looks like the most likely candidate to close in on his brother at the moment. It's a Williams 1-2 with Adrian first, Christian second, Juan NH now up to third after a little bit of dicing with Eligos 555, the Aprilia man we saw there through turn number 4. Certainly contacted, kissed the rear wheel of the 77. Fortunately, both stayed upright though, and still Andrew ZH and Trastevere, they can't find the way through the field. We're going to have completed 3 of the 10 laps here around the Red Bull Ring, and neither of them have been able to move further towards the front of the field.
Well, this is the thing, Jack. Eligos 555 is the 2018 Global Series runner-up. He is no slouch. He had a bad year last year, but he's showing once again that he's just as quick as anybody in this championship. So the 2 champions behind him, they're just not going to be able to pick him off easily. They've really got their work cut out for them here.
Doing a brilliant job so far is Juan NH as well. You know, he gets a little bit of grief, does Juan NH, for not living up to the expectations that we've seen. But do you know what? He's doing a brilliant job, is the Spaniard. He was a podium finisher in the 2019 Global Series. He was in contention during that opening night, a 6th place finish and a 4th place finish. He is Mr. Consistent. As Eligos 555 has dropped backwards, we've now got a real dice between the 2 Italians.
Oh.
Trastevere dives up the inside of Andrew ZH, and that's going to allow Eligos 555 to come back into it. They are 3 abreast before we go left here for turn number 6, and Eligos 555, surely he's not going to pull it off around the outside. It's Trastevere that takes 4th, and then contact again with Andrew ZH diving back through. What a battle this is for 4th place. Trastevere takes it at the moment with Andrew ZH tucked in behind him, and Eligos 555, the big loser, dropping down to 6th, but it's not over yet. Here comes Andrew ZH once more.
Whoa.
Our 2 champions going toe-to-toe here. Andrew ZH will take it through turn 10. Oh, what a battle this is, Jack.
Oh, phenomenal. The 2 champions there, look at them, absolutely deadpan, completely focused in on one another as they try to go down the inside. I think Trastevere is going to look to the inside. No, not quite. Andrew ZH just sweeps across the front of the Monster Yamaha as we now do look back on board with Andrew ZH. Trastevere stalking, looks like he's going to try and barge his way.
Here he comes.
Just bump slipstream him down towards turn 3. On the brakes, can he do it? He certainly forced him offline. He may well have just held him off this time. He has, and now this has allowed Eligos 555 to sweep back into 5th place. So all in about 3 seconds time, Andrew ZH has gone from 4th to 6th.
Job done for Trastevere, and this is about more than just 4th place between these 2. Remember, Trastevere, the only man to have ever won the championship twice. Andrew ZH stole it away from him last year. There's pride at stake, there's honour at stake. These 2 are our 2 eSport kings since it was first brought together in 2017, and it looks like they're going to dice it out again, this time surprisingly over 4th place. They've gone toe-to-toe so many times before, most notably at Aragon last year when they pulled off a last lap classic. This time it's not even for the podium finishes, but we don't care one jot. What a battle between these 2, with Eligos 555 getting in the mix for good measure as well.
Yeah, certainly Eligos looks pretty good here. He looks relatively comfortable in this battle. He's making all his marks, and he's putting the 2017 and 2018 champ Trastevere under a lot of pressure. And as you say, Jack, it's just not where we expect them to be. And it just goes to show how impressive the man out front, Williams Adrian, and his brother Williams Christian, have been in 2020 so far.
Perfect Williams Adrian has been. I don't think actually anybody has been able to get in front of him in any of our Global Series races. He led from lights to flag in races 1 and 2, and he's doing the same here as well. Meanwhile, Ellie goes 5-5-5, gets a little bit of revenge, and Andrew Zedhage put onto the grass by Trastevere, who has to give way and drop back to 6th place. He was going to have a big look up the inside there, but no way through this time. He'll try and find a way through. Contact between the pair, but Andrew Zedhage holds on. These two are at it again. Gloves are off in Austria between Andrew Zedhage and Trastevere.
It's unbelievable, absolutely boxed office action here as we see them coming down. Just quickly, I've just noticed there is some graining on that rear tyre of Andrew Zedhage's machine. So in these last 4.5 laps, they're going to start running into some grip issues and maybe even fuel issues. Do not forget, this is the man that ran out of fuel running up to the line in the second race of the first Global Series round. Or maybe it was the first race, I can't remember now anyway.
Race number 2, that's the one in Jerez, where he eventually came across the line in 7th. Well, limped across the line in 7th after running out of fuel. He's not doing that much better here, neither of them are. 5th and 6th place for the pair. Ellie goes 5-5-5, has taken advantage of those two squabbling over 5th. He's gone, fair enough lads, if you want to go at each other like you are, then I'll just jump out in front and try clear off. A comfortable 4th place finish will do him the world of good. Meanwhile, back at the front, we've barely even spoken about the pair of them. It's still Williams Adrian. He's still got a comfortable advantage, but his brother's there just about applying a little bit of pressure on Adrian, but we've seen a pressure applied on him before and he's not broken yet, and to be frank, he doesn't look like breaking now.
No, he certainly doesn't. It's certainly brothers in arms against the rest of the world at the minute. But I'm sure that Christian, if he gets up to the rear end of his brother Williams Adrian, he will not hesitate to try and nick through into the first place and be the first man to knock Williams Adrian off the top step in 2020.
Juan H there in 3rd, can't discount him as well. If anything, he's looked as though he's closed in on the 25 of Williams Christian over the past couple of laps. This man, full focus. Williams Adrian with his Red Bull KTM factory racing top on, and he's looking full factory at the moment. He comes across the line to complete lap number 7 of 10. We're on to lap 8 of 10 now. Only 3 remaining of the Red Bull ring, and if he can put together another 3 like he has done so far, it's going to be win number 3 of 2020 for the number 26.
Yeah, just while we had that camera of Williams Adrian in full action there, I was just looking at him and studying what he was doing with his eyes. He was darting all around the screen, looking at the different corners, probably checking his fuel, checking his tyre wear, seeing what those temperatures were on those tyres, and just making sure everything was under control with 2.5 laps to go.
Here's Moe back down in 8th at the moment. Is the Indonesian battling away quite nicely is number 27 on the LCR Castrol Honda. This would be by far and away the best result that we've seen from him in 2020. 9th place finish at race 1 in Mugello, and then in 11th place finish, bit one to forget certainly for Moe at Jerez in race 2. And this is a great performance. We have to mention it. Mr. TFTW, the Australian, made his debut in the Global Series last year, and look where he is. He's within a couple of bike lengths of the 2-time MotoGPeSport champion Trastevere. If you would have offered him the chance to be in touching distance of Trastevere in one of the races this year, he would have snapped your hand off. What a performance from Mr. TFTW.
Yeah, it is absolutely phenomenal from Mr. TFTW. When we talk about people that have upped their game in 2020, he is the one that comes right to the forefront of your mind. Just 2 places behind this man now. So yeah, certainly a round of applause for the Australian as he chases down.
Obviously, it's prime time for those in Europe at the moment to be battling it out. I don't even know what time it is. I don't even want to think what time it is in Australia at the moment for Mr. TFTW, but he's battling a little bit of tiredness, I'm sure, to be able to be up there in 7th place. Great work from the Aussie. Talking of Red Bull, here's the Red Bull KTM Tech Twat of Juan NH. 3rd place still at the moment. Did say a couple of laps ago I thought he'd closed in on Williams Christian, but it doesn't look like that gap has become any closer. Neither has the advantage, do you think, Jack, between the two Williams riders?
Well, I wouldn't say so, but you've got to admit, like, that was a lovely line through there from Williams Christian, and maybe he's pulled in a tenth or two, but as we come down to 1 lap and 2 corners remaining, you've got to say it's a big ask from here if he can pull in, what is that, it must be 3/4 of a second now. So certainly Williams Adrian, he's answered the question that his brother asked to him, is whether he can you know, withstand all the pressure. And as we come into the final lap, it certainly seems that Williams Adrian has not buckled one little bit.
One lap to go then for Williams Adrian. Just 10 corners, now 9 corners of the Red Bull Ring remain for the Spaniard. 2 victories so far in 2020. Looks to be on course for a 3rd win, but most importantly, really take control of this 2020 Global Series, even at this stage. The closest rival at the moment is Trastevere, just 10 points adrift, but I'm trying to get all my fingers and my toes out to do the championship calculations. I don't know how big his advantage is going to be with Williams Christian surely climbing potentially into 2nd place. It's pretty tight in that battle over 2nd and 3rd in the championship at the moment, but one thing is for certain, it's going to be 75 points for Williams Adrian if things stay as they are. Half a lap to go. Great performance from this man, Juan NH. He's got Ellie Goats 555, not anywhere near, not able to put a move in, is the Aprilia man, but he'll certainly be feeling the pressure, will Juan NH, as he looks to take a first podium of 2020. But this man, he's been here before, he's done it before, he's got the t-shirt, 2 of them to be precise, and he's looking as if he's going to take a 3rd one now into the penultimate corner, perfect through there and into turn 10 for one last time. The number 26 of Williams Adrian makes it a hat-trick of wins in 2020. He takes control of the Global Series and gives it a big fist pump to go alongside it as well. 2nd place for Williams Christian and 3rd for Juan NH, meaning there are 2 KTMs on the podium in Austria. Another little bit of Austrian delight for the orange brand.
Yeah, absolutely phenomenal. Take nothing away from all those people in the top 4. They had fantastic rides, but it was Williams Adrian better than the rest, ahead of his brother by 0.7 of a second in the end. Not too big. Juan NH rounds out the podium with Eligos 555, Andrew ZH and Trastevere.
It's a hat-trick of wins then for Williams Adrian in 2020. The KTM man doing it again, this time on KTM's home circuit, as he takes a huge stride forward towards the 2020 Esport Championship. And for KTM, what a good day for them. Not only picking up the victory, but they bagged themselves 3rd place as well, thanks to Red Bull KTM Tech Twas Juan NH. Juan, many congratulations. How does this podium feel?
Thank you very much. I am very happy for this podium. This podium is for my friends, my family, my big sponsor, MT Helmet. Is too for Garage Moto Cafe and the all MotoGPeSport rider, Timothy, Ivan Abela, the Fugia, Pistol, Rick. This podium is for them.
I think you mentioned just about everyone there, Juan. Congratulations, mate. Very well done on that performance there in Austria.
Yeah, certainly. And another man that's going to have a fair few people to thank is the 2nd place finisher, Williams Christian. Christian, it was a great race for you. You're just chasing down your brother there for the win. But how does it feel to take 2nd place here today?
Yes, the 2nd position is really, really good for me and for recover position in the championship. But I think that in lap 8, 9, I think that maybe I could win the race, but I made 2 or 3 mistakes and I lost time, so I caught. But anyway, I am happy with for me and for Adrian and for Juan.
Yeah, well, certainly, regardless of the mistakes, it's a fantastic performance for you there, Christian, and possibly just a mistake costing him the win as well.
Yeah, certainly, and the one man that's running away with the championship so far this year, 75 points out of 75. Many congratulations to Williams Adrian, but Adrian, it looked like this one was probably your most challenging and difficult win yet.
Thank you very much. I am very happy for this victory. The race was very difficult because the bike moved a lot. Christian behind all the race. In the 8th lap, I almost crashed, but luckily I could win the race. And I'm so happy also for Christian, Juan, Elegos, 4 Spanish guys in the first 4th position.
Yeah, complete Spanish lockout of the top four. And importantly for you as well, Adrian, your nearest championship rivals coming into that race, finishing 5th, 6th and 11th. That could be a hugely important win by the time we get to the end of the season.
Yeah, it certainly could be. Drama plenty in race 1. And just to recap it all, let's go back and look at the highlights from the first race in Austria. So after 3 races in the 2020 MotoGP Esport Global Series, it's that man at the top once again, Williams Adrian, with a full 75 points out of 75. He's been utterly unbeatable, and now his championship lead is a full race win. Look at Trastevere there in second place on 50 points. Williams Christian on 41, just closing the gap a little bit with 1NH, Andrew ZH and Sancho Queen, and even Ellie Ghost 555 there, all very close in the mid-pack. Fuchs, the Brazilian on the Repsol Honda, is down in 8th after a slightly disappointing start to the 2020 Global Series. Davide Galigna is in 9th aboard the Pramac Racing Ducati with 21 points, with Moe and the Australian Mr. TFTW rounding them out in 11th. But they're all chasing that man at the top, Williams Adrian. We've got race 4 coming up after this. Will he be able to go 4 from 4? So there we go then, that's how the championship standings look after the first race here at the second round of the Global Series. But now it's time to turn our focus to the second race of this evening, where we're going to the Sepang International Circuit. It's a huge technical challenge for the riders, one that they're going to have a tough time facing up to. But we think we've got the perfect man to give them some tips.
Yeah, he certainly is the perfect man, Jack, because the last time MotoGP went to Malaysia, none other than Maverick Vinales took victory by quite a comfortable margin. So we've spoken to his crew chief, Esteban Garcia of the Monster Energy Yamaha MotoGP squad, to find out what exactly the technical challenges are going to be at the Sepang International Circuit, and a few setup tweaks for our eSport gamers to try and help them tackle it.
Sepang is a track where you need to flow, you need to take profit regarding the corner speed. It's important the break points, and the most important thing in this track is try to save the rear tire, because at the beginning of the race you have a good grip, but as soon the tire has 7, 8, 9 laps, it starts to drop, and the last laps for sure you're gonna suffer if you don't take care about your rear tire. Yeah, electronics are important in all circuits, but especially in Sepang. The point where you have to be more careful is the engine brake, because as you know, you need to flow on the corners, but at the same time you have a hard braking points where you need to stop it and then make turn the tire. It's quite important also to have a good traction exiting of corner 3, corner 10, 13, 14. For that you can set up very well the electronic also to save tires. In that area, you have to find a good acceleration, but also good tire consumption. And it's also quite important brake stability. In this track, gear ratio, usually you should use first, second, third gear longer, then from 4, 5, 6 shorter, a small gap between these gears for the long straights. Final setup advice for this track is try to use hard spring, not too hard, but more in the hard direction, and rear contact over the rear. And especially with electronics, try to save the tire in acceleration and to have a good engine brake.
A huge thank you there to Esteban Garcia for letting us know a few of his own little golden nuggets about how to tackle the Sepang International Circuit. Hey Jack, if it's good enough for Maverick Vinales, then it's definitely going to be good enough for our 11 eSport gamers. So let's fully focus now then on race 4 of the 2020 Global Series. As we've mentioned, of course, being held at the Sepang International Circuit, where sometimes we can see a little bit of wet weather creeping in, but fortunately none of that today. Dry skies and a dry circuit, meaning there's nothing but the track itself for the guys to try and get their head around.
Yeah, certainly that is fortunate for our eSport gamers. We've got 8 laps coming up with balanced performance on. And one thing crucial on that list, that tyre and fuel consumption are proportionate, so they need to keep an eye on whether they're using too much of those. So that's it then, we've done enough talking, let's turn our focus to Sepang. Qualifying took place earlier, let's catch up with the highlights. So as we said, qualifying took place earlier on today, and this is how it all went down. Reigning Global Series champion Andrew ZH got off to a sharp start in qualifying in Sepang as he tried to use the best of the Ducati power as he launched out onto the front straight to try and claim a first pole position in 2020. However, his first efforts weren't quite enough to take over at the top, and at the top it was in fact Williams Christian aboard the Suzuki who seemed to gel immediately with the Sepang International Circuit. He traded pole position with his brother Williams Adrian several times before eventually it was William Adrian, the dominant force in the Global Series in 2020, who was able to come out on top. 4 pole positions in 4 races, the KTM man has been unbeatable on 1 lap pace, and it's translated across to the races pretty good as well. So Williams Adrian takes it as Williams Christian and Andrew ZH complete the front row. Sancho Queen aboard the Petronas Yamaha lines up 4th with Trastevere and Juan NH in 6th.
Well, he's gone and done it again. Williams Adrian taking a 4th pole position in 4 races this year, and as a result is able to move ever closer to the MotoGP Tissot Pole Award. Remember, for the eSport guys, whoever walks away from 2020 with the most pole positions will also walk away with a brand new Tissot watch. So as a result of taking 4 out of 4, with only another 4 left, Jack, even my maths can work out that he's pretty close to picking up that glistening Tissot watch. Let's speak to him then for the 4th time tonight already. He is the man of the moment, Williams Adrian. Adrian, another great performance in qualifying. You must be super confident going into this race 4 of the Global Series.
Yes, I am very happy with this 4th pole position in a row, and the race will be very difficult, and I will try to win if it's possible, and I will try to do my best in the race.
Well, we know exactly what the script is so far in 2020. You take pole, and then you go on and take victory.
Yeah, certainly. So the grid is set. Williams Adrian will be heading them off as the charges onto turn 1 in Sepang. And speaking of turn 1, it's pretty tight, and so is turn 2. And there's a few more traps laying for the riders around the rest of the track. Let's take a look at the overtaking hotspots for the Sepang International Circuit.
Let's take a look at the overtaking hotspots for the Sepang International Circuit in Malaysia, a staple of the MotoGP calendar, or it usually is. Unfortunately, unable to go there in 2020, but thankfully we can go in MotoGP eSport. 5.5 kilometres in length, 5 left-hand corners, 10 right-hand corners, offers absolutely everything and will certainly test the skill levels of our MotoGP eSport gamers to the maximum. Good news for them though, there are loads of overtaking hotspots for them to try and utilise. The first of which coming at zone 1, turns number 1 and 2, both of them being tight, twisty, tricky hairpins, but also great opportunities for them to lunge up the inside, as is turn number 4 as well. The drive through the superb turn number 3, where they'll have to check tyre wear, but then they can get hard onto the brakes into the 90-degree right-hander. Another great overtaking hotspot coming at turn number 9. Again, this one downhill, so they need to be tricky on the front end that it doesn't fold beneath them, but it's a great place to make a move, as is the final corner, turn 15. The long sweeping left-hander has provided plenty of drama over the years, and we might be treated to a little bit more as race 4 of the MotoGP eSport Global Series gets underway. The Sepang International Circuit always seems to throw up a storyline or two every time we go there, and I've got a sneaky feeling that 2020 is going to be no different. There's only one question going into it: can anybody stop Williams Adrian from continuing his quite incredible streak so far this year? 4 pole positions so far. Is he about to make that 4 victories? There's only one way to find out, and that's by going racing in Sepang. It's time to go racing again in the MotoGP Esport Global Series. Race 4 of 8 at the end of this. The halfway point will have been reached. And as we just said, the main question coming into this one is, can anybody beat Williams Adrian? There he is, starting from pole position for a 4th time, but he's got his brother for company once again in Williams Christian, with the front row of the grid completed by Andrew ZH.
Yep, and it's a great qualifying for Sancho Queen on the 4th position at his team's home circuit. Lined up next to him is the 2017 and 18 champ Trastevere, and completing the 2nd row of the grid is Juan NH. Look out for him, he had a good race last time out.
He'll be hoping to go 1 better, 2nd, or maybe even 2 better, and a win for Juan NH. Ellie goes 5.55, again had another good run last time out. I did Mr. TFTW, starting from 8th with Davide Galinha, rounding out row 3 of the grid.
And the back row of the grid is the same as last time, with Moe in 10th. And 11th place on the Repsol Honda, it is Fuchs, the Brazilian.
So Williams Adrian starts from pole position once again. He now has a championship lead of 25 points, a full race win. Can he make it 4 in a row? He starts from pole position and gets another good start, but Sepang International Circuit has one hell of a run down to the opening corner. It looks like he's got it boxed off as they go hard onto the brakes into turn 1, takes a tight line contact with his brother. That's Davide Galinha that's gone down, is it? No, it's Andrew ZH. It's the champion from last year, the Ducati man, that's gone down, and he finds himself dead last. Drama at the start of this race 4 of the Global Series. Last year's champion crashes out and he's down in 10th place.
Unbelievable. 2019 champion Andrew ZH's time in 2020 Global Series just gets worse and worse. You could barely even believe it, seeing him skittle himself down the road. It was also a terrible start for Sancho Queen. He got swallowed off the line, and it seems he's gone all the way down to 11th as well.
Meanwhile, it looks as though we've got a change for the lead, Jack. Williams Christian hits the front, and now our other champion's gone down. Trastevere crashes out, and look at that, Andrew ZH in 9th, Trastevere in 11th. Well, it looks as though we're going to have ourselves, not to say it too early, but a new name on the MotoGP Esport Trophy in 2020. There's obviously plenty more still to come as Fuchs goes down as well. But with Williams Christian and Williams Adrian riding like they are so far this year, who would deny either of them from being champions so far?
But unbelievably, Jack, what we've actually missed is that Williams Christian is leading this race. For once in 2020, Williams Adrian has some work to do. He's got his brother to chase down. Let's see if he can. Who's that? That's Fuchs, who has to leave a position, so that's going to drop him down to 10th. Actually, he drops down to 11th, so he must have let both of them pass. But it is this man, Williams Christian, on the Suzuki, out front for the first time in 2020.
Here's Davide Galinha up to 3rd. What a performance from the Pramac Ducati man. Juan NH up the inside though, and Juan NH moves himself through into 3rd once again. What a night he's having so far. The Red Bull KTM Tech Twyman has only been on the Global Series podium just once before tonight, and he looks to be on course for 2 in the space of 2 races. He was hard on the brakes there, and down goes Davide Galinha. Clips the rear wheel of Juan NH. He was in too hot, was a Pramac Ducati man. The door was slammed shut on him by Juan NH, and he's into the gravel trap.
I tell you what, Sancho Queen has had some first lap. From starting 4th, he dropped all the way down to last in 11th, and then by the end of it, he was up to 6th place again. So the man who's riding for Petronas Yamaha, this is their circuit. They are the Sepang racing team, so it seems as though he's salvaged some sort of honour for them on the first lap.
As has Andrew ZH as well. He's up to 5th place now, so at least he's back in contention to some degree, but he needs more than that, does last year's champion. He's already 39 points adrift of this man, Williams Adrian. At the moment, Williams Adrian is going to pull out another 9 points over him. It would be 48 points, nearly 2 victories separating last year's champion and the current championship leader. It's almost unsalvageable for the Italian.
Completely. I'd go far as to say that it is unsalvageable. 48 points. It's not a gap he can pull back unless Williams Adrian suddenly just goes to bits in the rest of 2020. But him sitting in second place now and pulling up to his brother as well. Like, we just see him in front of the screen there to ride on board with Moe, who's having a cracking ride, by the way.
Yeah, great
Congratulations to that man. But Williams Adrian is just not going to lose those points if he keeps clean.
The same has to be said for Trastevere as well. He's down in 9th place, the man that's won this championship on 2 times before. Crashed out. Here he is on the opening lap. And it wasn't as if he was touched, he was tugged by anybody. It was his own fault. He's managing to build his way back through the field now. Contact with his compatriot Davide Galinia, and he's up to 8th, but still only 8 points compared to the 20 at the moment of Williams Adrian. He's 25 points adrift. He's going to be 37 adrift at the end of the night. It could not be going better for Williams Adrian at the moment. Everything that he could have wished for is happening, apart from the fact that his brother's currently ahead of him. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
And speaking of his brother, he actually just set the fastest lap of the race, a 54.2. So that man is piling on the pressure. He's really starting to stretch Williams Adrian. As I say stretch, I don't mean it literally. Literally, he's only about half a second in front of him. So Adrian, he's certainly got the claws in, and he's hooked onto the back of his brother and that Suzuki GSX RR.
Yeah, good ride so far from Williams Christian. I think he managed to take the lead up at turn 4 in that opening lap. We obviously were concentrating on the fact that Andrew ZH had crashed out and Trastevere was dropping like a stone as well. But I think that's where he managed to squeeze his way through on his brother. Meanwhile, track limits warning there for Trastevere. I've just seen at least 2 flash up for Juan NH as well, so he has to be careful, otherwise he could see a penalty coming his way. And we've mentioned it once, Jack, but it's worth mentioning it again. Great ride so far by Moe. Super stuff from the Indonesian on the LCR Castrol Honda, battling up in 4th place and in contention for a podium. That man has never stood on a MotoGP eSport podium, but it could be very shortly if he can get his claws into Juan NH. But I think Moe's biggest concern at the moment is not Juan NH in front of him, it's Andrew ZH behind him, because the Ducati man, well, if there wasn't a fire lit beneath him beforehand, there certainly has been now after that opening lap drama.
Yeah, certainly. And historically, of course, we've seen that Andrew ZH has generally had the pace over Moe to finish in front of him. So Moe is certainly going to receive some heat from the 2019 World Champion. Andrew ZH tucked firmly into his slipstream. Not going to be close enough for a move this time at turn 1. But turn 1 is one of those ones that can suck you in. He's got to be careful not to run wide. And actually, it's Andrew ZH that runs wide. How far behind him is Shanso Queen? Not quite close enough to make to capitalise on that mistake.
Moe out of turn 2, now into turn 3. This is where you need to be careful on that rear tyre. A super corner, so fast is turn 3 on the side of the tyre throughout all of it. They'll then get up to turn 4 here as Williams Christian goes wide. Is it an opportunity here for Adrian? He closes right in onto the rear wheel of his brother. He's staring straight at the number 25 ahead of him. Can he find a way through? Not at the moment. But this is going to go down to the wire, Jack. These two are inseparable at the moment, side by side, nose to tail. And at the moment, though, it is Christian who's just about hanging on ahead of his brother, Williams Adrian.
Yeah, you've got to be wondering how much of that rear tyre is Williams Christian using to stay ahead of his brother. We see him just run a little bit wide there, possibly just starting to struggle getting it stopped on those brakes. But yeah, possibly Williams Adrian just starting to mount a charge. We're only halfway through this race, so there's still plenty and plenty of time for him to rehearse some moves and finally put one in the closing laps.
Well, his eyes will be lighting up, Williams Adrian, seeing his brother make the odd mistake here or there, even at this early stage. Remember, we're only on lap 3 of 8 at the moment, and already Adrian is really applying the pressure to his brother ahead of him. He's not folded yet, though, Christian. Plenty time for that to happen, plenty of time for anything to happen. But at the moment, it's 25, followed by 26. Suzuki, followed by KTM, as we complete lap 4 of 8. Half race distance now achieved. The opening half goes to Williams Christian, but nobody cares who has control of the opening half. It's all about who's in front by the time the second half comes to the end.
Exactly right, Jack. And of course, these two, they train together, so they know exactly what each other can do, exactly what they've got in reserve, and exactly what they've got up their sleeve. So there is literally nothing between these two that they do not know. They know every trick in the book of each other, so it's purely going to be down to racecraft. He's going to have to make a move. Christian's not going to make it easy for him as we look back, and now the gap's actually just opened up a little bit.
It has, yeah. It looks as though Christian has just eked out a little bit more. Meanwhile, I saw a change for 4th place, and now I've seen another one. Andrew ZH and Moe are having a bit of a ding-dong, over 13 points at the moment. The Ducati man had got back in front of Moe, and now Moe a reckless riding warning. So what on earth has gone on here? It looks as though the pair of them have had a ding-dong. I was saying it not knowing what had happened, but the fact he's been told off for reckless riding means he's done something that our race director has told him to be careful about, and whatever they've done, it's allowed Sancho Queen to close right in as well, because suddenly the Petronas Yamaha man is back in contention for 4th place. Look at this trio, nose to tail. You could throw a blanket over them, they're that close.
Yeah, it certainly is. And Sancho Queen is not one that doesn't lack any confidence. That man is full of confidence. He said in the last round of the Global Series that he thought he could fight for race wins and the podium, so he's certainly not going to be looking to Andrew ZH and B or Scaredy Cat about him. He's just going to go straight through him when he gets the opportunity.
It's really starting to close together now, this battle for 4th place. You've got Moe, Andrew ZH, Sancho Queen, Ellie goes 5.55 there, and Trastevere as well. All 5 riders in camera shot at the moment. Here's Trastevere down in 8th place at the moment. Not where we'd expect to see him at all. The factory Yamaha man on a signed contract, unsurprisingly, after his 2 World Championship victories. And Andrew ZH has gone down again. Well, I thought someone had gone down in the background, and for the 2nd time tonight, it's the Ducati man, and he drops to dead last as a result. Andrew ZH has a nightmare here in Malaysia, and his hopes of being a 2-time world champion are surely going up in smoke.
It's absolutely gone to curtains for the 2019 chap, but Sancho Queen's now being told to leave a position. So what happened here? Oh, we're going to get a replay. Maybe Sancho Queen has done a silly dive bomb. Not quite, I don't know.
Oh, he's miles
What's
back.
going on here?
He's miles back.
That is so unfortunate for Andrew ZH, just to be tagged on the rear end by Sancho Queen and gone down. So that has pretty much sealed Andrew ZH's fate in this 2020 Global Series. 11th and only 5 points to be picked up if he stays there. It's not looking good for him at all.
Not at all. That one, not his fault whatsoever. Sancho Queen, the rookie, rather over-exuberant there. He was an absolute country mile back, and he went in too hard on the brakes, couldn't get it stopped, and poor Andrew ZH was the recipient of a T-bone, and down he went. Disaster for the Ducati man. It just hasn't gone his way tonight at all. Meanwhile, back at the front, and it has gone the way of Williams Christian and Williams Adrian. The pair of them finished 1st and 2nd in race 1, and they look like finishing 1st and 2nd in race 2 as well. In fact, it's going to be the same top 3 again. A Spanish armada in the MotoGP Global Series, as Christian, Adrian and Juan, the Spanish trio, take over on this 2nd night.
Yeah, certainly they've been impressive, those 3 this evening. Juan and H particularly so, coming from some poor qualifying positions and coming right the way through the pack, managing to stay out of trouble. As we now look back to Eligos 555, he's going to try and negotiate Moe to pick up that 4th position, but he's got to be careful. He's got Trastevere behind him as well, and we know that Trastevere likes to get his elbows out. We see last year in the Global Series, he wasn't afraid to bang bars with Andrews and H on final laps, as we do approach the last 2 laps, and it looks like he's got the run on Moe. See if he can outbrake the LCR Honda. I think Moe is actually just going to run wide as Trastevere comes diving in from miles back, and it looks as though he's got that move done.
Job done for Eligos 555, moves through to 4th place, does the Aprilia man. A little bit of a nibble there from Moe to see if he could get himself back in front, but he's got it boxed off for the moment. So that's a change for 4th place then. Eligos 555 moves through. Moe now down to 5th, with Trastevere there in 6th. A bit of a moment there for Moe. He had it sideways on the brakes into turn 4. Eventually got it stopped though. I thought he was going to run wide and leave the door open for Trastevere, but he managed to close it fairly swiftly and make sure that he held on to that 5th place. We're looking off the rear wheel now of the LCR Castrol Honda, with Trastevere swarming all over the rear wheel of the RC213V, and here he goes, looks to get up the inside. The Yamaha M1, of course, extremely nimble. These bikes all, as we said before the race, completely equal in performance, so there's no advantage to be gained anywhere. It's all about the men behind the controller, and at the moment Moe has just got a little bit of an edge over the Italian.
Yeah, it certainly seems that LCR Honda Castrol machine of Moe is just starting to buck and weave at the rear a little bit. So as we come down into the last lap and a quarter, Trastevere will be smelling blood. He'll be smelling a 5th place. And remarkably, I'm actually even saying that, the 5th place for the 2018 and 17 champ, but that's exactly what the situation is as we do now come down towards the final lap with this man out front and in control.
Williams Christian into the final corner for the penultimate time. Out of it without any error. It's been a perfect race so far from the Suzuki man. Started from second, took the lead on lap 1 and hasn't looked back since then. Williams Adrian was applying the pressure up to about half race distance, but since then Christian has been able to edge further and further clear, where we're at the point here on the last lap where it's his to lose. The Suzuki man in total control here in Malaysia as he tries to pick up his first victory of 2020 and stop his brother's perfect streak at the start of this year's Global Series.
And as this race will signify the halfway point of the 2020 Global Series, is this the start of the pendulum swinging the other way in momentum between the two brothers? Williams Adrian, he'll certainly feel like he left one on the table here because he was all over him in those early laps, and it just seemed as though Christian had the pace on him. He's pulled away inch by inch, lap by lap, and it's been an absolutely sublime performance from the Suzuki man.
An important one as well, just as you say, Jack. If Williams Adrian was to pick up another victory here and make it 4 out of 4 and move on to 100 points, the perfect total, you would have to say it'd be nigh on impossible for anybody to stop that man from picking up the 2020 Global Series with the form and the rhythm that he's in. But with this victory, Williams Christian cuts the advantage, or, well, doesn't cut it, actually extends it. Still does Williams Adrian, but he moves to within 29 points of his brother, and suddenly you can possibly put a storyline together where Christian can build from this point forward.
You certainly can, Jack. One small mistake, one crash, that's all it's going to take, and that could be a massive total of points. It could be 10, 15 points that Christian could claw back on his brother, and he'd be right in it.
He was almost a forgotten man in 2019. He finished 3rd in the 2019 Global Series and was less than 9 points adrift of the eventual champion Andrew ZH, and with this victory he drags himself back into contention for 2020. Williams Christian stops Williams Adrian's run by taking victory here at the Sepang International Circuit. It's another podium for Williams Adrian, 2nd place, and most importantly, he extends his championship lead thanks to that man, Trastevere, coming across the line in 5th.
So it's Christian that takes it then ahead of his brother Williams Adrian, who still leads this championship battle. Juan NH, Ellie goes 555, Trastevere, Moe, Davide Galinia, Andrew ZH, terrible race for him. Fuchs, Mr. TFTW and Sancho Queen round out our 11 eSport gamers.
At long last in 2020, Williams Adrian has finally been beaten, and by his brother of all people too, Williams Christian. Adrian, however, has been able to extend his Global Series lead. We're going to speak to both of them in a minute and get their thoughts, but we'll start off with a man who has surely had the best night of his MotoGP eSport career. Juan NH picking up a podium in 2019, just the one of them, and then he's gone ahead and picked up 2 tonight. Juan, many congratulations. How does it feel to be back on to the MotoGP eSport podium for the 2nd time tonight?
Thank you very much. I am strong right now. Good feeling. Thank you very much with the people that I train. These people is Elegos 555. Sometimes Mo, Mr. T for the win, Adrian and Christian. Thank you very much, because thanks for them, I am more strong.
Yeah, and you're certainly helping them to be strong as well. The Spanish Mafia are sticking together, aren't they? And it's working as well, because we've got the same top 4 lockout, all 4 Spaniards at the top once again, Jack.
Yeah, it certainly seems to be working out for him in 2020, doesn't it? And whatever else that Williams Adrian is doing in 2020, it also seems to be working. And for the first time, in fact, he's been knocked off the top. I can barely believe I'm saying it in the 2020 Global Series. But Adrian, it's the first time you finished 2nd, but 1st and 2nd tonight, and you extend your championship lead. You must be pretty happy with this evening's races.
Yes, thanks a lot. I'm very happy with this podium because the race was very difficult. Are 20 points more important, very important to the championship. I tried to win the race, but it was not possible, and I will try to win another time in the next event.
Yeah, certainly. Well, we can be rest assured that he'll be going for 2 more victories at round 3.
Yeah, he certainly will do. But as you rightly say, Jack, for the first time this year, he has been beaten by his brother of all people, Williams Christian. Many congratulations, Christian. It's not the first time that you've won in the MotoGP Esport Championship, but it is an important victory. Does that win right there keep the championship alive, do you think, going into our next 2 rounds of the Global Series?
Yes, I am really happy with this victory, but I am also really sorry for Adrian that I touched in the first corner and he lost the front. But anyway, I could beat him, but we have to try to beat him in the next event to try to fight for the championship. And also congratulations to Juan and Eleos, top 4 Spanish guy. We are really happy for us.
Yeah, you're certainly dominating the championship at the moment. Unsurprisingly, I think there may be a few celebrations in the Williams, Christian and Adrian household this evening after finishing first and second in both of our races and now sitting first and second in the championship as a result. Talking of the championship, let's take a look at it now because it is still Williams Adrian at the top. Now 29 points clear of his brother Williams Christian, with 2-time champion Trastevere still in the mix as well. He's 6 points adrift of Christian at the moment there in 3rd place.
Yeah, certainly. And the rest of them, we do see that Juan NH is in 4th, not too far behind, with Andrew ZH down in 5th, but he's only on 44 points, so it's going to be a bit of a struggle to get back from there. Eligos 555 follows him up with Sancho Queen as well, with Fuchs on the Repsol Honda just behind them. Davide Galina, Moe and Mr. TFTW round out the championship standings.
Of course, Mr. TFTW there with 26 points at the moment. Don't be too concerned. I want to say a little special thank you to him as well for staying up during these ungodly hours in Australia. He still managed to put a good performance in. Congratulations to him. But he's still in a hunt for the championship, of course, because we've got double points at our final round of the year, meaning even though it looks as though Williams Adrian is starting to get away with it at the moment, that could all change by the time we get to the season finale. So certainly well worth tuning in for as over the next few weeks and months we get into round 3 and 4 of the Global Series. But that's all for tonight on round 2 of the MotoGP Esport Global Series. I've been Jack Appleyard. Huge thank you to Jack Goss for helping us out throughout the evening as well. Hopefully you enjoy the rest of your evening and we'll see you very soon.